And for the record, this is October 25th at approximately 9:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And President Trump is on his way to fly into Traverse City, Michigan for a rally. And his call sign is November 757 Alpha Foxtrot, better known as Trump Force 1. And he is south of the airport. Let me just say who the players are here. We have Traverse City Air Traffic Control Tower, which, by the way, they close at 10 p.m. The airport shuts down as far as air traffic control goes with the local airport controllers in the control tower. So you have the air traffic controller, you have drone activity just north of the field, probably for the rally that's being held at the airport, and you have Huntsman or Hustler 1, which is a military helicopter, I believe Marines. If it's Hustler 1, they're based out of McGuire, New Jersey. They're based out of McGuire, Fort Dix area, and they provide support as an air asset, protective asset for VIP movements, apparently. So they are just north of the airport. They're airborne, providing the protection for the area. The airport has a temporary flight restrictions, a TFR around the airport, so that there's no flight activity while the VIP, who is Donald Trump, and his aircraft pilots and all who are on board, it allows them to safely land at an airport without being disturbed or any threats. Airborne. And that's all monitored by air traffic control and NORAD and the Secret Service. So the Hustler 1, he's part of that, the protective overwatch for this activity. The VIP on approach, landing, rolling out on the runway, taxiing into his destination, and he's probably part of the overwatch team for the entire rally. And as he'll say on this audio, until the aircraft leaves. So what's happened here is, while inbound, the Trump Force 1 pilot, the pilot of 757 Alpha Foxtrot, reports a laser illumination. A laser illumination is when somebody targets the aircraft with a high-powered laser into the cockpit of the aircraft with the intentions of blinding the pilots, and the ultimate intentions are to have the aircraft crash. So I have my thoughts about this. I would say, considering that it's Donald Trump's personal aircraft on the way to a rally, which was a known destination, that this was absolutely intentional. And I would consider it to be another assassination attempt, but that's just my own opinion. So the pilot reports of the laser illumination just 12 miles south of the airport, and its proper procedures and protocol for air traffic control to relay this information to other air traffic controllers. So the pilot reported it to the facility that was directing them while they were 12 miles from the airport. The controllers told the controller at the airport that there was a laser illumination event, which is proper protocol. The air traffic controller at Traverse City Airport told the Overwatch, the Hustler 1 helicopter, that they should go to, or somebody is requesting that they go to find out more about the laser illumination event. So the Overwatch helicopter is now directed to leave, which they do leave. They leave their post. And I'm not sure if there's others that are airborne, but it didn't sound like it. So that in itself is kind of awkward, because Trump Force 1 was 12 miles south of the airport when the laser illumination event happened. By the time that all the information gets received, you have a few minutes, let's say 2 minutes. By the time the helicopter that's already airborne would get to a 12-mile position, if they could even see it, mind you, it's dark out. They're just being told it's 12 miles south. So I can only imagine there's a ton of stuff that's 12 miles south of their locations. But a person who's going to specifically target an aircraft, they're not having a laser party. They're not hanging out on the ground, like drawing circles on the ground. This is a high-powered laser with the intentions of blinding a pilot and causing a horrific accident. They're gone. There's almost zero chance that they are going to find the person who utilized the laser as a weapon. This isn't uncommon. It does happen across the country, from the East Coast to the West Coast, every night. But I don't think that it's very common in areas that aren't busy metro airports. So the helicopter Hustler 1 is diverted south to where the laser event happens, and 7 Alpha Foxtrot is now on the final approach for the airport. And the radar facility who's directing that aircraft to the airport switches the airplane over to the control tower. The control tower's responsibility is to make sure the runway is clear, give the pilot pertinent information about the conditions of the airport, and obviously clear the aircraft to land. The pilot of 7 Alpha Foxtrot checks on with the tower, something similar to tower number 7 Alpha Foxtrot, ILS runway 28. That means that the aircraft is on final. He's probably 5 miles from the airport in a landing configuration and is on an precision instrument approach, and is going to, with the intentions of having the wheels touch down right at the approach end of the runway. And it happens to be 30 seconds prior to when the airport control tower is supposed to close. And the controller says to the pilot, "We're in the process of shutting down." So everybody and their brother knows that there's a VIP coming in. Everybody knows that it's Trump. Everybody knows that this is the aircraft that's landing, and it's him. That's the VIP. That's the reason for the temporary flight restrictions around the airport, all of the Secret Service agents, the whole thing going on at the rally going on at the airport. And the controller still proceeds to shut the airport down while the aircraft is on. Maybe a 2 or 3 mile final basically says, "We're shut down. You're going to have to do this after you land." I find it just disturbing that the controller would do that he wouldn't stay open for another minute, let's just say, or 2 minutes for the VIP to land. It's very, very awkward. So we have a laser event happen. We have an Overwatch airborne asset diverted 12 miles south of the airport to a destination where they're never going to find the person. And then you have the controller telling the pilot that they're shutting it down while he's on a mile or two final. All of this stuff is kind of crazy. So I'm going to talk through the actual transmissions here from the controller to the pilot and see what we can do. It might take me a little bit. So I'm going to try to fast forward some things here. Right now, this is about 9:35 p.m.
About 17 miles to the south inbound for runway 28.
And
proceed as requested, remain north runway 2 at all times. North 28 all time.
So Hustler 1 is told, he's airborne, he's told to remain north of runway 28.
When they arrive, are you following a trail behind them or anything like that? No, well, we can do everything we need to.
So
Just watch his arrival and landing, and once he lands and taxis in, shortly after that we'll might tweak, we'll take a couple more looks, but shortly after that we'll go in and land and be on the ground during most of the event, and then we'll do what we just did prior to departure. Council 1, Roger.
So the controller asks Hustler 1, who's the Marine helicopter, what are your intentions? What are you going to do? Are you following the aircraft in? So everybody knows that the aircraft is inbound. They can see him on the radar scope, and they know that it's the VIP. Hustler says that after the aircraft lands, that they are going to be on the ground, and then they're going to do what they just did in reverse. They're going to be airborne in the same location, and they're going to be there for the departure of the aircraft. So let's continue here. And also, there's a drone in the same vicinity, probably for news.
Proceed northbound, hold short, runway 28 and runway 36.
And that's just their ops talking.
Remain north for runway 5 feet or below. True FC Tower, number 757.
All right, so here we go. Right now it's 9:43 p.m.
True FC Tower, number 757 Alpha Foxtrot, currently 10 miles southeast of the field, receiving a laser illumination event. They're requesting you go and check it out and see if you can find something. Okay, we'll be southbound for left going.
All right, so that's the controller relaying to Hustler 1 that 757 Alpha Foxtrot had a laser event and is requesting that he go to that location.
Did he have a color? Hudson 1, green. Okay, Hudson 1, roger.
Obviously, Hustler 1 requested, wanted to know what the color of the laser was, and the control tower confirmed that it was a green laser.
Huntsman, the one that lasers reported approximately 1-2 miles south of you. Yep, Huntsman, yes. Plane 1 bit out, so got an idea where to start our search area. That's one, Roger.
So the controllers, sounds like he's calling him Huntsman 1, but it's Hustler 1. And he's just telling him that it's actually 12 miles south of the airport. And the Hustler 1 tells him kind of like, yeah, we know because we were watching him when he reported it, so we know where it's at. Kind of insignificant.
Airport and the Delta airspace will be.
All right, so now we are at 9:58. And the controller is getting ready to close the airport.
Central Aircraft Air Traffic Control Services at Cherokee Airport and the Delta airspace will be terminated in approximately 90 seconds. The airspace will be resumed. All nav aids are operational. Airport lighting is pilot controlled on the CTAF 124.2. Weather is VFR. ILS is set to runway 28. The TFR remains in effect until 0500 Zulu. For more information on the TFR, contact the Ops Center 132.9er. Any aircraft requiring special assistance, please advise.
So he makes the required statement, the broadcast on the frequencies.
Ground, this is Airport 10 on the south ramp. I'd like to south route. Or, excuse me, north route. Airport 10, traffic on north route. North route for Airport 10, thank you.
Sorry about that. That was a ground vehicle that was just requesting to go in the airport on a certain routing that was approved. But the controller put out the required broadcast saying that they're closing soon and what to do. So now 757 Alpha Foxtrot Trump Force 1 is probably on about a 6-mile final for runway 28.
We're 757 Alpha Foxtrot, Traverse City Tower. We're closing up shop right now, effective this message. For your reference, your IFR flight plan, once you're down, you can close the flight plan out with Minneapolis Center on 132.9.
So that was it. 757 Alpha Foxtrot checks on with the tower, probably on a 5-mile final to land. This is Trump Force 1 landing for this rally. And as you can hear, he just closed the tower. As you can hear, the controller says, we're in the process of shutting down. So this aircraft would be on the ground in about a minute or two. I just find it to be very strange that the VIP is landing and the control tower shuts down. Even though it's supposed to shut down at 10 o'clock, I'm just very surprised that they allowed this to happen. So you had 3 very strange things happen during this evening, this event. The laser illumination event, which is pretty serious. There's been pilots who have been blinded by that laser, temporarily blinded. Absolutely. There's reports of that happening, many of them. The second thing is the diversion of the Marine helicopter who was providing tactical air support for the VIP, who's no longer now on location, and the airport closing down with the VIP just about ready to land. So very interesting, very strange. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm just giving out facts of what actually happened, and you can listen to those recordings. I have it saved on the computer.